Why can't I see God right now? Where is God in my life right now? I felt that way in a number of sort of times in my life, and I think a lot of people feel that way, and I think the longer you live, the more opportunities you'll have to feel that way. And pain is a reality that we all face in different ways. Sometimes when we're going through pain or discomfort or sadness, especially something for a long time, one of the reactions that I think is pretty common is that we flee, we run away from that pain into some kind of distraction. You know, we feel like it's just a bad thing to feel sad, and so we block it out. We think of something else. We, I don't know, sometimes drug ourselves. There's a lot of different ways we can stop the pain from at least surfacing, kind of push it down in various ways. That can be pretty destructive if we do it that way. That's how you kind of destroy yourself so that you don't feel the pain that you're feeling. It's kind of like, you know, I have some kind of pain in my hand, and so I chop off my hand so I don't feel that pain. That's what we do when we drug ourselves and try to get away from that sadness. Another way is we can ask, what did I do wrong? And we can do this with all sincerity, and in fact, it's more common to do that with other people. When we see other people suffering, not even maliciously, it's just kind of maybe something that comes to our mind in an almost natural way. I see somebody else suffering, and my instinct is to say, well, they must have done something wrong. The book of Job has a lot of this in there. His friends come and they say to him, well, you must have done something wrong if you're suffering this much. And it happens a lot kind of in human society. You know, even sometimes it comes down to like, I got a cold. I got a cold. I got a cold last week, actually. That's why I'm thinking about it. What do we say? What do people tell me when I get a cold? Well, you were outside too long. You should have worn a jacket, right? Parents will say that to their kids. Sometimes, but like mom and dad, sometimes people just get a cold and it's not their fault. Sometimes things just happen. It's not this one-to-one cause and effect relationship. A bad thing happened, and it must only be because you did a bad thing. That's not the way the world works. I wish it was that logical. It's not. So that one is kind of childish. We try to make sense of it. It's even worse than I'm saying. Okay, let's say this happened because I did something bad. Okay, does that make me feel any better? No. I'm still suffering. So even if we were to answer the question, why this happened, what did I do wrong, we're still going to feel sad. So it's not going to help anyway, even if we're right. Maybe the worst way to deal with it is to be angry at God. The last one was about being angry at ourselves. Oh, I should have done that. I was so dumb. I should never have done that. We're mad at ourselves. That just makes us feel worse. Even worse than that is to be angry at God, as if He did something wrong in allowing me to suffer this pain. Another way to deal with this is to have the attitude of, I'm sad, there's some kind of suffering, something bad is happening in my life, therefore I have to fix it right now. Every second that passes, that this inconvenience is still there, something wrong is happening. This person is irritating in some way, they have to fix it right now. Their personality has to change in this moment because it's making me upset. This situation is happening in my life. Do what you can. But the apostles say, what does he mean by a little while? Sometimes it's longer than you think. And sometimes all your problems are not going to get fixed by some act of the will. So how does Jesus deal with this? He doesn't see sadness as a wrong thing that's happening that has to be fixed immediately. You know what Jesus says? He says, truly, truly, I say to you, you will weep. You know what Jesus says to us when we're sad? Be sad. Be sad sometimes. It's not the end of the world. It's okay to be sad, and it's okay that life sometimes is sad. That's just the way things are. Well, how are we supposed to think about it? Well, how long am I going to be sad? Jesus says a little while, but the disciples ask a really good question. Well, what does he mean by a little while? It's a good question. And Jesus says, 9 months. That's the little while. That's how long it's going to be. Symbolically, 9 months. When a woman is pregnant, she's uncomfortable. And when she's in labor, she's in serious pain. That's what you're feeling now. When you're going through that sadness, when you're working through those hardships in life, what you are doing is creating life. You are carrying a new human being within you. And the new human being that you're bringing to term is you. It's not exactly like the suffering of somebody who is, I'm starting a new business, and you know what, I'm not going to be able to buy everything I want because my money is going to be tied up in this business, so I'm going to have to be a little bit uncomfortable right now. I'm going to have to live a simple lifestyle, no restaurants for a little while until this business gets off the ground. Great. That's awesome. That person is making a sacrifice for some external good later on in life. Awesome. But what Jesus is saying is something even deeper than that. You're making a sacrifice, you're feeling sadness, not to have something 9 months from now. You're feeling sadness to become something 9 months from now, some symbolic 9 months from now. And in the eyes of God, the new you that you are going to become when this suffering is over and you get through it is worth all the pain in the world. You are worth that to Jesus. And the new you that will be there on the other side of this labor that you're feeling is worth it to Jesus. And when I say, I don't want this pain, I don't want this suffering, I have to get away from it, I have to avoid it, I have to see it as a punishment from God. Or I have to be mad at God for allowing me to go through it. Or I have to get rid of it immediately. You know what we're saying to ourselves? We're saying, I'm not worth it. And Jesus is saying, yes, you are. Because what Christ wants for us is not comfort. What he wants for us is transformation. And there is no transformation without suffering, without pain. And so, brothers and sisters, Christ himself suffered in obedience to the Father. And his suffering had purpose, and so does ours. And the purpose of our suffering is the same as the purpose of Christ's suffering, to bring into the world a new human being. Amen.